Hey there, today I want to talk to you about the 4-inch Hiya G.I. Joe action figure line. And real quick, if you happen to notice the background that I am in my car, it is true, I'm in my car today. And if you hear some odd outdoorsy, city-ish type noises, that's because I have the window cracked because it's really hot in here. So I can't film this while it's really hot. I'll be roasting my brains. So anyway, I was going to make a Hiya G.I. Joe video last week, and had I done that, it would have been different than the one I'm making today. Because since that time I planned it and I'm actually filming it, we got a new Hiya figure. Kind of completely unexpected, kind of not unexpected. We'd been sitting around wondering, when is Hiya going to be putting out these figures? Because we got Storm Shadow, the now sold out Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes figures, June of 2023. That's over a year ago. And it's just been kind of a funny thing. Hiya reveals a figure, and we kind of wonder, where's this thing going? We're not getting any of these figures anymore. Are these NFTs? Are these just imaginary? Is this trolling us? I don't know. So I was going to make a video about what's going on and just kind of overview and look at all these reveals that we've seen. Well, but now we actually have Cobra Commander, and hopefully, maybe you've seen my recent review of that Cobra Commander figure, which I think is actually really pretty awesome. A few interesting differences than the Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, but it's really interesting and different. So let's start at the very beginning. So way back, early 2023, I think it was. It's either 2023 or late 2022. Time kind of has melted together at this point, and I'm not quite sure when, and I didn't pull up all that information. I have an iPad that I'm looking at figures and so forth, and I'll be popping them up on the screen one side or the other as I talk about them. And I just lost my place. But anyway, so as I mentioned, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes finally released or got mailed out June of 2023. Those were our first couple figures, and they were like instantly sold out. I don't know what the production run on those figures are, but it doesn't seem very Hiya? I don't know. That was a poor joke. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of figures getting made. I kind of wondered for a while if those figures were to test the waters, so to speak, to see, like, we're going to put these two figures out, we'll put everything else on hold. Even though Cobra Commander was supposed to release, I believe, fall of 2023, like Q3 or Q4, a little bit later. I was kind of wondering if Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes were testing those waters. And maybe they didn't, even though they sold out, maybe they didn't sell well enough or high enough numbers. And so Hiya decided to put their efforts into other lines. Like, there's been a lot of Godzilla stuff popping up from them. And so I've been kind of curious, what's been going on, or is it just simply it took them a while to work on? Well, we got Cobra Commander. If you saw my review, like I mentioned, there's a few different things. He didn't have the double elbow, and he didn't have, or something else he didn't have, that Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow had, and I'm drawing a blank on it right this minute. Oh, he didn't have a bicep. It was like the arms were completely different. He had a normal hinge and rotation at the shoulder, and he had the ball joint wrist. But other than that, the arms were kind of redesigned, and so it made me wonder, maybe they went back and reworked that figure before release, and that's why it's taken so long. But what I didn't know in that video at the time that I reviewed it was the articulation for Beachhead and Firefly, which we saw previews of before I did the video, but I didn't look really closely because I didn't think I needed to. So I went back and I looked at Beachhead and Firefly, and sure enough, well, not sure enough, but they have the same articulation as Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. So that threw my theory out of the water of why things were so delayed. So it's kind of weird that we got such a delay, and I don't know if anyone has answers. That would be really awesome. There's opinions all over the place, but I'm really curious about actual answers of what's going on. But anyway, besides that point, so let's talk about the figures and kind of like in the order that they were revealed. So I've said several times at this point, we got Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. Pretty cool figures. My Storm Shadow, about a month or so after I owned it, the right elbow the lower arm kind of broke off. It didn't really break off, but the metal pin that holds it inside the elbow, that double pinless joint, the upper pin kind of got stripped, or it kind of wore off. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened. I was able to heat it up and get it pushed back on, but it's a pretty fragile figure now. I'd love to get another one. Snake Eyes has been doing really good, except for the wrist swivel. The ball joint on the wrists are getting very loose because I've removed the hands and put the hands on just enough that they're just getting really, really loose. So now I'm going to be scooting over here, and we're going to start looking at the ones that are upcoming. As soon as I can get my page to load here. There we go. So recently, Cobra Commander came out. That's a kick-ass figure. That figure looks really awesome. I gotta say, I think it hands down is it's better than Classified. It looks better. And on a side note, I'd wondered for a while if we were going to be getting discarded Classified scale or Classified designs in 4-inch scale. I'm not so sure about that anymore. So moving on to something not released, but it sounds like is coming really soon, is Beachhead. And I've seen some comments online. He kind of looks a little goofy in the eyes, but that was the next reveal. Then we got Flint, which people have thought he looked a little goofy. I look at him and I think he kind of has a bit of a Joker vibe, a white-faced Joker vibe in the face. I'm not sure. I've heard people say Hiya is not the great for facial details or making faces look good. I'm not real familiar. I have a RoboCop, I have a Predator, I have an Alien, and that might be all I have from Hiya. So I'm not real familiar with actual faces. So then we get Firefly, and it's a very Classified looking Firefly. And we've even seen a preview. In fact, I think just yesterday, I even saw somebody with a carded example of Firefly, which I'm pretty sure he's coming. Beachhead and Firefly are going to be coming really soon, so keep an eye on the channel. I will be reviewing those figures when they come out. But what's interesting is Flint is nowhere to be seen in a preview, so Firefly apparently has jumped up in front of Flint. I find that kind of interesting. So then we have Lady J, and I think Lady J looks better than the Classified version. I think the face is looking better than the Classified. I like the look. I like the outfit. I think it's a pretty clean, pretty good look. Next up is Major Blood, which looks very Classified to me. Very nice. And it's a very good looking figure. The face is kind of mean and gritty. And I think this is a really nice looking Hiya figure. Then we move up to Destro. And you can't really go wrong with a man in a metal mask, right? He's got all the right equipment, and he looks really pretty good. Then we get Baroness, and I've seen some... She's always controversial, apparently, since Classified started. But I like this figure. I think it looks pretty nice. I'm noticing that with Lady J and Baroness, they don't have bicep rotation, and they have a single hinge at the elbow. A single pinless elbow. But Cobra Commander does too. So was he in a female build quality? It's kind of an interesting thing to think about. But then we have Baroness, and she looks pretty nice. I think all of these actually look pretty good. I'm not going to say very many are bad, except Tiger Force Flint. That's a great big why. If they need to reuse the mold and do something, why are we getting him? I'm looking back here, and there's probably others we could have gotten. But why Tiger Force Flint? Does this mean we're going to be getting all the Tiger Force figures at some point? I hope not. I mean, I like Tiger Force, but with Hiya, I would just like to see these main characters. There are so many that it'd be cool to get. So Tiger Force Flint has a very interesting camo deco. It looks a little bit different than Classified. Then we get Gung Ho, and he just looks pretty mean. I mean, he looks like he might be a bigger figure compared to the others. And then next is Cobra Trooper, and this guy looks pretty nice. I actually want a couple of these figures. It makes me wonder what the production limit on these. How many are produced? How many are made? I don't know. Zartan looks pretty nice. Again, he's kind of got a Jokerish looking face, I think, but he looks pretty nice. Then we're moving on to Spirit. I gotta get it. There we go. Then we got Spirit and Freedom. I think he looks has a bit of a wash. He looks kind of gritty, dirty, but he looks good. He looks very Spirit-like. And, you know. Then we get Tomax and Xamot, and it looks like these are going to be separate figures. They're not going to be combined. A lot of people were hoping that classified Tomax and Xamot were going to be in like a double package. They didn't do that, and it looks like Hiya is not going to do that either. So we've just got Tomax and Xamot in their circus outfits. Maybe someday they'll reuse the heads and put them in suits. A lot of people want them in suits. Then we get the first deluxe offering, which is Crocmaster and Fiona. And so Crocmaster with the alligator, or crocodile, sorry. I don't know why I mix that stuff up all the time. Another nice looking figure. I'm kind of interested to see how they design the crocodile. So that will be interesting to see. Then we get Stalker, which is just a good looking figure. They're all generally good. Dusty is next. And I like Dusty. I've always kind of liked Dusty just a little bit. He's interesting. Then the final two figures that we know about officially, there is the Crimson Guard, which I say looks really good compared to some we've had very highly detailed, and the Cobra Viper, which looks different than the classified offering. So those are the last two troop builders. They are all $26 except for Crocmaster, which is about $37. The prices I'm quoting are from CoolToysClub.com. And just a real quick plug, not sponsored or anything, but if you use my code MacDowin, then you can get 5% off of all of these regular priced figures. And Cool Toys Club will ship to you for free in the US, and it's pretty easy. I've gotten several of them now, several packages from Cool Toys Club. Takes a little bit longer than some places, but you'll get that stuff as long as the stuff gets released, and it will work. It'll be great. I haven't had anything really damaged at all yet, so I recommend Cool Toys Club for that, and then use my code and get 5% off. Bring it down to like what, $25.70, quick math. But we have a lot. We have 19 figures left to release. Now, I saw online there was a rumor of a WonderCon exclusive figure. And it's Prophet Director Destro. I won't throw the images up, but it just did pop up on a Facebook group. I don't have anything verifying that that's true. And so I won't go beyond that. But just keep an eye out. That might pop up as an official con exclusive at some point. But anyway, I wanted to just kind of go through and show off all the Hiya figures that we know of so far that have been released, and the ones that are still previewed waiting for release. So I hope you found this video helpful and informative. I will see you in the next one.